Hotep family, what's going on, y'all? I hope everyone has been having a blessed week. We're in the middle of Black History Month, which is really World History Month, a time for us to really kind of reflect on a bit of our history, not just for us, but as well as for the rest of the nation. And while most of us tend to really celebrate our history and always try to improve on our conditions throughout the year, I still believe and strongly feel that this month is a crucial time for us to kind of look back into what we have accomplished, even though I strongly suggest that we all should be looking throughout the calendar year at our history and be looking to see where we came from so that we know where we are going. I share with a few of you on Facebook that I would be having another video talking about black economics and black wealth and where we stand and how we can get better. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time to share an excerpt that I found on Facebook not too long ago, which is actually, let's see, this was made in 2017. So this thing is about 5 years old, right? It was actually originally on the internet, and it looks like somebody put it on paper. And the title of this excerpt is called "Why Blacks Are Behind Economically," and this is a conversation between an interviewer who I'm not sure what their nationality is. They may be African American or of African descent, talking to a Jewish leader, and it reads, and this is the interviewer: "Why are blacks so behind economically?" And the Jewish leader responds, "The only aspect blacks understand is consumption." Most of you know that we are the number one consumers in the nation, yet we own very little of the resources in this land. Blacks don't understand the importance of building wealth. The fundamental rule is to keep your money within your racial group. We build Jewish business, hire Jewish, buy Jewish, and spend Jewish. There is nothing wrong with that, but it is a basic rule blacks cannot comprehend and follow. He kills his fellow blacks daily instead of wanting to see his fellow blacks do well. 93% of blacks killed in America are by other blacks. Now, let me stop right there. Those are statements that we as well tend to always put out there when we look at police brutality. That is something that needs to be omitted and negated, because just like black people kill black people, majority of the white people that die are killed by other white people. Same thing with Asians, Mexicans, and every other nationality, every other ethnic group within the world. So dismiss that from your minds and trying to come at black people for killing blacks, because man has been killing man since Cain and Abel. Okay, so that's always going to be a thing. Yes, we need to stop killing each other, but we also have to look at the conditions in which we are all in that causes the death toll and murder rate to be as high as it is. Now I'll continue. Their leaders steal from their people and send the money back to their colonial master, from whom they borrow the same money from. Remember, this is a Jewish man speaking. Every successful black wants to spend his money in the country of his colonial masters. They go on holiday abroad, buy houses abroad, school abroad, etc., instead of spending this money on their own country to benefit their people. Statistics show that the Jew's money exchanges hands 18 times before leaving his community, while for blacks it is probably a maximum of 1 or 7 or 1 or even 0. So the black dollar circulates within the black community one time, if that, before it goes to the hands of the Jewish, the Caucasians, the Asians, and every other ethnic group. Only 6% of black money goes back into their community. This is why Jews are at the top and blacks are at the bottom of every ladder of society. Instead of buying Louis Vuitton, expensive cars, shoes, houses, dresses, etc., blacks could industrialize Africa, build banks, and get rid of colonial institutions by putting them out of business. This is something that a lot of our leaders have been saying since the civil rights movement, right? Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, so many other people have been talking about this, but we're just now starting to catch on, right? I'll continue. Now the interviewer asks another question. Your thoughts on failure of blacks after 150 years? And the Jewish leader responds, well, nothing is ever the black man's fault. His compulsive habit of killing his own, compulsive material consumption, his inability to build business or preserve wealth are usually somebody else's fault. So what can blacks do to liberate themselves? Blacks must take responsibility. Blacks must unite and vehemently fight corrupt leaders who run down their country and run to IMF as though IMF is Father Christmas. That's the end of the interview. I'm not sure exactly what IMF means, but that last statement that the Jewish leader made, when you even look at members from the Nation of Islam, that's what they've been practicing. As long as I have known of the Nation of Islam, that's what they've always practiced, and that's what they've always stressed to us to do. Anytime I've listened to a sermon of Minister Louis Farrakhan, he talks about building for us. Stop begging your oppressor. And that's the one thing we need to remember. Stop thinking that our oppressor is going to give us the tools, resources, religion, finances, all this stuff necessary for us to empower ourselves. Because if they were to give us those things to be empowered, well, then they would be in power no more. So stop thinking and stop being naive that they would give us everything that we need to be successful. We have to create our own. I had a very interesting conversation with my dad this morning about if it's so easy for us to go to someone who looks like us to cut our hair and do our hair, why can't we do the same when it comes to all the other products that we buy? And again, there's many reasons for that. Like it said in the excerpt that I read, it's not 100% the black man's fault. We have been indoctrinated into doing this, right? Even when before the massacre on Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all these other incidents where our businesses and communities were disrupted, i.e. Black Wall Street, we had the idea and we had the desire to build up our own people and to work for our people, work with our people, hire our people, and build up our communities. But then what happened? They shut us down. They burned everything down. They killed us. We were heavily in Congress and the House of Representatives. We did all that, and then over time they started to dismiss us and get rid of us, and over time people started to get scared and integrate. Integration has never been good for us. We were actually, and the leaders of the past, and even some of them still alive today that still talk about economics and politics, will tell you that we were much better off when we were segregated. Now, am I employing that you create products and create businesses that are specifically targeted towards the black community? That's up to you, right? Because another thing that me and my father talked about is that many of the businesses that are out there, even though they may not necessarily adhere specifically to the black man and the black woman, they encompass all ethnic groups. Right, he talked about in specific hair products and razor products and stuff when it comes to men losing their hair or trimming their hair. They always show different ethnic groups in the commercials, right? So you can really decide on your own when it comes to any business or brand that you build who your target audience is. But at the end of the day, we need to be spending more with ourselves, for ourselves, like the FUBU brand. For us, by us. So I just wanted to leave you all with that. I don't want to take too long. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of insight. I know a lot of this stuff is something that we already talk about. It's been heavily discussed within the black community, but it needs to be a change made a lot more adamantly, but it has to start within. Right, you guys can see from the background, I got a couple polo hats and I got on a Nike hoodie and stuff like that. I'm still growing myself, as many of us are, but these things need to come to light on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, not just during this month of Black History Month, but throughout the calendar year, right? And I know, I'm pretty sure some of you all can see, if you follow enough people on social media, if you do enough research, that there are many people within the black community, within not just the nation, but also across the globe, that are starting to really create their own products, build their own products. They're not going to someone else who has the resources, but they're creating their own resources, therefore creating their own brands and products to give to the community. So I just wanted to leave you guys with all of that. Hope you all have been having a blessed week. I can't wait to drop more episodes for you all. Make sure y'all follow the channel E-Up on YouTube, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. Ashe, everybody. Love.